I'm here with Stag's Director of Football, Dave Wright. Dave, obviously, you've had a long career across professional clubs, academies. Could you give us an insight into those?
Yeah, sort of started as most young children do, really. I had sort of relatively successful junior playing career. Without going into sort of too much detail, that was cut quite short, really, through injury and what have you. So had to sort of quickly rethink a career and got into coaching at quite a young age. Started as a young coach down the road at Portsmouth, and sort of progressed from there. Really, that sort of led into sort of senior positions within the academy there. Moved on to Stoke City, which sort of led to sort of eventually sort of becoming and heading up their academy there at Stoke. Um, then sort of moved across into the auditing world, where sort of academies are categorised and they have to be sort of assessed against sort of certain criteria and things like that. So I did a bit of that for the Premier on behalf of the Premier League and Football League for a while. Went back to Portsmouth for a very short spell, and then an opportunity came up to join Brighton to sort of head up their youth academy recruitment from sort of 21s down to the little ones, and so that was sort of my last role in professional football. And sort of the last year or so, I've sort of been doing my own stuff, and now I've sort of delighted to be here and helping AFC Tottenham.
And just what was it that attracted you to the role here at FC Tottenham?
Obviously, I've known Jimmy a long time, and sort of Jimmy approached me around sort of the same time James Beattie was departing the club. And sort of after speaking to Jimmy and then coming to meet the board and having a look around the environment and things like that, I just saw it as a really exciting project. Sort of the club getting to sort of the highest level football that it's played. You could sense the ambition, you could sense the, the desire to do and achieve more, and sort of aligned with my sort of the where I'm at the minute as well, really, and come and sort of utilise my skills and help the club, advise on sort of different areas, not just obviously on the pitch because that's what Jimmy's there for, but sort of wider things, sort of medium long term things. So yeah, really excited by the project, really.
You just touched on the sort of role spec a little bit there, but
Yeah.
for those supporters that don't fully understand the Director of Football role, can you sort of elaborate into a bit more about?
Yeah, obviously there's different models, isn't there? There's different sort of structures that clubs can adopt. Obviously Jimmy's very much hands-on, the manager, the day-to-day running of the football, the running of the team. And I suppose Jimmy is, not that he is, but sort of that role is, is short-term. It's game to game. It's 3 points on a Saturday. And that's primarily, what his focus needs to be. So the way it's sort of, the board sold it to me in terms of the structure here was just to sort of obviously help Jimmy and support Jimmy with that, but start to look at the medium to long-term stuff and plans of the club. So obviously the academy, the development of the stadium, the women's and girls, the youth setup, it's like, a lot wider. So like I say, really sort of the medium to long-term football aspects of the club.
And obviously, you've been in the role for a couple of months now, I think.
Yeah, it's gone quick. Yeah.
Yeah. How have you found the environment at the club so far?
Brilliant, as I expected, really. And good people. Obviously, heavily reliant on people that aren't paid, volunteers, things like that. Part time. That's probably the big difference that I've found. Obviously, is the part time element, and not having a sort of full time staff around and things like that. So it's sort of opportunity to sort of work around those things, and when people are available and things like that, where you can sort of get those discussions and meetings in place. Same with the board. They've got other businesses and things like that, so it's sort of planning your time a bit better, I suppose, around those things. But no, I'm really enjoying it, and it's the players great squad, great bunch, great group. Staff, good staff. It's like I say, the project is really exciting. Obviously, my role is to keep trying to drive things forward and make us even better.
As you say, it is an exciting project here at the club.
Yeah.
But in the long-term strategy, what does the ambition equating to success look like?
For me, obviously, success on the pitch. Is to be, I say it's our first season at this level of football, so whilst Jimmy will be keen to keep pushing and keep progressing and finish, and rightly so, finish as high as we can and see where that gets us. But probably from a level-headed business perspective, it's important we sustain ourselves at this level, establish ourselves at this level, professionalise the club a little bit more around sort of our structures and our infrastructures and the support around the football. In terms of sort of like the medical side, sports science, strength and conditioning, all those sorts of things. The provision that we can give to the players, the academy, how that supports pathways for young players. For me, sort of those things don't happen overnight, but they're the things obviously that we're chipping away at, and that I have been in the last couple of months to improve relationships with sort of universities, things like that can support us. Obviously, because if resources aren't there, we've got to be a bit innovative of sort of how we can provide those things as well. So yeah, there's plenty going on, whilst obviously predominantly the fans see sort of what's going on the pitch, week to week, but there is a hell of a lot going on behind the scenes as well. A lot of discussions, like I say, around hopefully, fingers crossed, development around the facilities and things like that as well, which just open up doors to allow us to do more, possibly generate more income, things like that. And then obviously you'll start seeing that input could then lead to better squad, tying better players down to better contracts, things like that. So yeah, lots and lots going on.
And just finally, have you got any message for the supporters on moving forward?
No, again, it's since I've been here, everybody's been fantastic, and the fans, including the fans in that. It's I've been surprised by the level of support here. It seems a good following. Obviously, we'd like to see that grow and local people really starting to get behind what's going on here. If there's anything we can do to help support that as well, then let us know. But everybody, the fans have been incredible. Even like travelling away, like the hardcore that are there week in, week out, it's fantastic, and we need that. We need that. The players need that. Jimmy needs that, and we'll keep doing our best to keep putting on a good show for them.